Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about why isn't Final Space more popular. Now, I'm not saying it's not popular, but I'm not saying why isn't it as big as something as Rick and Morty when it's kind of in that same tier category, in my opinion. It's kind of that sci-fi adventure. You got the seriousness. There is some comedy in there as well. But why ultimately isn't it as popular as it should be? So I want to talk about my original Final Space reviews for a little bit here first. So Final Space was the first ever video I did here on YouTube, as some of you may know, and I didn't really get all that many views on it. But the second it got released to Netflix, a lot of people that don't have cable or don't want a cable anymore, it just boomed up. It blew up for a while. Same, I think season 1 and season 2 might have been released on Netflix almost simultaneously, kind of back to back type situation. But Netflix, I think, actually advertises it in some way, shape, or form, unlike cable television. Kind of unlike really, the brands that do it. I see little to no advertisement on Adult Swim, minus mentioning the new episode once in a great while. There's literally zero advertisement at all on TBS, and it is still playing on TBS. I was not even aware they were putting the new season on TBS because I did see an advertisement for on Adult Swim. But yes, TBS is currently showing Final Space, but they are just trying to bury it. It's like Adult Swim and TBS are both just trying to bury it and trying to get out of the deal. Maybe they signed on for so many seasons, but I really don't think cable is the place to put this, because unlike Rick and Morty, it's not something where it's like you can find it on the internet the same time you can find it on TV, or the day after, something along those lines. Because Rick and Morty, you were always able to, I believe you were able to find it on the Adult Swim app. I do not know currently if you can find Final Space on the Adult Swim app, because they are currently still associated with TBS. So if there's some sort of contract with TBS, then that may be a problem. But I think the biggest downfall of it is just advertising and lack thereof. There's Ash's new look. I'll switch characters here periodically. But there is just, I don't see advertising for it anywhere. I mean, I follow them on Facebook. I follow them on Reddit as well. Both the Reddit page. Let's pull that page up real quick. We'll do. I mean, I don't want to show you my Facebook friends list, so I'm not going to pull that up. But I mean, they talk about the episode. If you go to YouTube, which is pretty cool, they kind of have like a discussion about the episode on Adult Swim. So if anybody's actually following the Adult Swim YouTube channel, you're getting some audience members over there. But as of right now, my reviews for Final Space Season 3, they range, like inside the episode. There you go. Do another inside the episode storyboard type situation. They're all talking about Final Space. At least, I mean, Adult Swim is trying to advertise a little bit online, but I just don't see advertisements for it like I do Rick and Morty. Like, same with like action figures, things along those lines, the merchandise. Yes, there is some official Final Space merchandise, but there's no like actual official like action figure, minus I think like the Pop Funks, the Funk Vinyls, whatever you call them. There's not really that much stuff, in my opinion. A couple of T-shirts here and there, but just it's the advertisement, it's the merchandise. They're just not doing enough. They're not putting it out there enough so people actually see it, because cable TV just doesn't want anything to do with it anymore, and all of its fans seem to come from Netflix. As I said, when it went to Netflix, all of my reviews blew up. And I think that's what's going to happen right now too. When season 3 actually does end up going to Netflix, my reviews will probably blow up yet again, and I'll be getting a bunch of views on them, as opposed to the 100 to probably 400. It's kind of a weird range. My last review, I think, only got like 150 views, but might have been the timing when I posted it, because I posted it later. But it's bad. It's just a really bad advertisement, and you just don't see it anywhere, and it's sad. The other thing I think that's ultimately a major downfall of it is season 1. Let's be honest, they were feeling it out. it didn't do that. There was definitely good advertisement for season one, if I remember correctly, but it didn't do all that great, I think, on TBS. And then season two, they definitely tried it again. Season two got better. Season three is even better. In my opinion, the show is getting progressively better, but the advertisements for it, the displays of it is getting worse. And what also doesn't help is the forced comedy. I think there was another YouTuber that mentioned it as well. A lot of Western animation. Unlike anime, as you know, I do love my anime. It falls victim to the we have to be hardcore and edgy. We got to have those sexual conversations, coming of age stories, things along those lines, where it has to cater to like a 14-year-old boy. And I mean, people my age are still watching it. Adults are still watching the shows. They like these shows because they are serious, they are dramatic. But when the entire episode comes to a pause for a moment of kind of meh comedy, I mean, once in a great while they're funny, but typically it just kind of pauses the entire episode for a minute, and you're just like, okay, we just have to get past this part to get back into the meat of it. It does. It slows everything down, and that's part of the issue as well. You get something like Netflix, but BoJack Horseman, for instance, is an example where yes, there was some comedy in it, but it wasn't as raunchy, if I remember correctly. I don't think I ever completely finished BoJack Horseman, but it wasn't as raunchy. It wasn't as deep because it was on Netflix. It wasn't specifically for a kind of 14 plus audience, I guess is the best way to describe it. It wasn't specifically for cable. And I think that's a lot of the problem is the network executives are getting a hold of it, saying, oh, you have to have this so much comedy of it. And I'm honestly very surprised at this point that it has managed to last 3 seasons. A lot of these shows, you see them just get canceled almost immediately. I mean, if you compare it to a terrible show like Teen Titans Go, where it's just a bunch of fart comedy, and that's what's popular for whatever reason, with cable anyway, it just is what it is. There's really nothing you can do about it, but that's just how it is. They put their little grimy paws in it and ruin it, so that way we can't have beautiful things like all of the crazy different styles of anime that are in Japan coming out. Because I mean, Japan, you want something funny, fine, you can get something funny. You want something super serious, super violent, super bloody, you get whatever you want. It's not something where it has to be live action. Something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse shows how far it can actually go, how beautiful of a movie it can be, how many people loved that movie. So hopefully there's more things like that coming out in the future because of how well that did. But who knows? It's a lot of the stuff where it's just not in the culture, so we're not going to see a lot of it. And I think that's what the ultimate downfall is just forced comedy moments and pretty much lack of advertising, because there's really not. I don't see advertising for this anywhere. I'm literally doing reviews. I'm searching up characters, searching up merchandise, and if you know anything about algorithms, nothing Final Space really ever shows up in YouTube for me. Nothing Final Space ever really shows up in Facebook for me. If I go to Facebook right now, if I were to show you, basically what happens is I'll search for a guitar because I have my guitar channel as well. I'll be searching for a guitar, and then I'll get like 20 advertisements about that specific guitar. It'll be a giant. And I won't get rid of it for like a week until I search something else and I'll see another guitar. But I search Final Space over and over and over again, and ultimately you just don't see it there. It's not popping up for whatever reason, because it just seems like cable's trying to say screw you to the show. And I think this would just shine a lot better if they dropped a season on Netflix as opposed to doing it one at a time. I mean, you could do a weekly release date. People would still watch it on Netflix with a weekly release date, no problem. But I think that's where it's just ultimately going to shine, is it's going to have to stay on Netflix. It's kind of like the same thing with Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn, I believe it was season 2, was all online. After season 1, I think TBS had it yet again. They were trying to do something different, and I respect them for trying to do something different, where it's just not another Family Guy, another American Dad, another Futurama, South Park. Something along those lines. Some of these shows have been around long enough where they get away with it, but some of these shows just can't get away with it because they're too new. People don't want to deal with a new show; they don't want to get into it. Unlike people that like anime, where they get a new show, they'll try a couple episodes, see how they like it, and go from there. But the forced comedy, though, just keep in mind that has gotten a lot better throughout the seasons. Final Space has definitely gotten a lot better. Season 3, honestly, I think is my favorite season so far. Compared to Season 1 and Season 2, it just seemed like it's kind of a stepping stone, and it just progressively got better and better and better and better. I know at some point we're going to have to come back down off of our high horse probably after we get out of Final Space, but it is what it is. I mean, it is just it's a great show, and its ultimate downfall, if anything, is going to be cable TV. I think we just need to get out of that contract with TBS. Maybe have Adult Swim. Maybe just give it to Adult Swim. I mean, give it to Comedy Central because there is some comedy aspects of it. Futurama is still airing on Comedy Central right now. But throw it on Netflix because if that's where the popularity is going to rise, if that's where they're going to get their money, we already know that there's going to be a season 4. At the very least, there's going to be a 4th season as well. We don't know how many seasons that they got signed up for with TBS and Adult Swim after season 1. Because I believe there's a decent gap between season 1 and 2, and there's an even bigger gap between season 2 and 3. But I really like the show. I want to see more people watch it. I think I'm really the only one of my friends groups that watch. I don't know if I've mentioned it to them, but it's hard to find online. Like you just can't find it on Netflix right now. Everybody's got freaking Netflix. I can't personally find it anywhere. So I actually do watch it on cable. I'm lucky enough where I have cable, where I can watch it as it airs. And even most of the time, either that or I'll record it, so that way I can watch it later on if I know I'm going to be doing something with my Saturday night. But it is what it is. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. But I think we're just going to title this "Why Isn't Final Space More Popular?" or something along those lines. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you'd like to do for future cartoon and anime related videos. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.